Hey y'all, back with another video. So just gonna get right to it. Y'all see the title. Um, I don't really care. I don't care anymore about trying to save the black community because black men don't care. Excuse me. If like I said in previous videos, black men don't want to exist. Black men want the community to go extinct because they keep killing black women every 5.5 hours. Okay. We have the highest femicide rates in America. In America. Um, there's really nothing to work with here. What like in Cynthia G's newest live, as the question that she posed, what are we trying to preserve here? What are we trying to preserve? Because uh are we trying to preserve the black femicide rate? Are we trying to preserve generational poverty and trauma? What exactly are we benefiting from as black people? What are we benefiting from? Because now here we are, uh, about what? We're about four, most of us about 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 generations removed from slavery. And we have benefited nothing because the men in our community are so mentally weak and conquered, and they refuse to stop being mentally weak and conquered because at the end of the day, they only want to exist so that they can lay up with non-black women. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. Um, Black women are engaged in a kink slash fetish behavior that they don't even know that they're practicing when it comes to black men. If you know anything about BDSM and dominatrix, you know, I'm gonna spill a little bit of my tea. I used to do phone sex when I was in my early 20s. Okay, so I know a little bit about it, not too much, but you have to understand that when you when they would call when they would request a dominatrix, they would as the performer, as the phone performer, you have to get into a character. Okay, and I'm the dom and he's the sub. This this behavior is a lifestyle. Okay, there are actually people that are like full-time subs. Again, if you don't know about it, go look it up, Google it. There's YouTube videos. Go look up the whole dynamics of dominance and submissives. And I say that to say this: in order to be the dominant, the dominant fetish, you have to constantly degrade and reject the sub. That's your job as the dominatrix. You have to reject and degrade him because that's what keeps him coming back. That's what keeps him, getting off. He likes the fact that you don't want him, that he has to constantly prove himself to you. He's trying to please you over and over and over, and nothing's working. And that's the relationship that black women practice with black men, unbeknownst to themselves. but it's reversed. Black men are the doms and black women are the submissives. Black men constantly reject, and degrade black women. But yet these pick-me's and these mammies, and they still keep going back. They try to prove themselves more and more and more and more and more. And it's you're engaging in a kink that you don't even know that you are engaging in. It's really sad. I realize that black women are practicing this kink slash fetish behavior. You're the sub because you have no self-worth, no self-confidence. So you try to double down. You double down on the worship so that he'll want you more. And like that's not how the kink works. He's always going to reject you because he knows if he'll get more out of you if he rejects you. That's how the game is played. He has to reject you and neglect you in order for you to keep coming back. That's the game. You got to wake up out of that shit. And another point I wanted to touch on in Cynthia G's newest video, where she said this was so profound. She said, you cannot show dominance with other males by competing with females. Woo! Girl. You better preach, bitch. She said a whole motherfucking word. You cannot compete with other males by you cannot dominate other males by competing with your own females. Girl, she ain't never motherfucking lied. Never motherfucking lied. Because you know why? Even in nature, the male species, like when it comes to mating, if you go watch National Geographic, I used to watch National Geographic back in the day, learned a whole lot. Go pull up National Geographic and like watch the mating videos and learn and look how most of the mating rituals are done when it comes to the males. 9 times out of 10, the males, they either have to compete with other males. Okay. The males have to fight each other, and the woman, the female rather, picks the strongest male. Because that's how nature preserves itself. Even in nature, the female species understand in order to preserve my bloodline, in order for my bloodline to keep continuing, I have to mate with the strongest male. They don't mate with weak males. That's not how it goes. So animals understand that, but black women don't. Black women will go mate with the weakest fucking male she can find. I.e. Rihanna and Nicki Minaj. And Wendy Williams, just to name a few. Black women are the only people that when they become successful, they will go scrape the bottom of the fucking barrel to go find a mate. It is completely, it's the complete antithesis of your nature, if you will. It's just completely reversed. I mean, I don't even have the proper word. It's just so ass backwards. It's so atrophied that it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Black women are the only group of successful people collectively that when they become successful, they will date, mate, and marry extremely down, way below their station. I mean, it's really fucking sad. Uh, but back to the National Geographic. The males compete with the males in order to mate with the females, and the strongest one wins. And if the males don't compete, the males have to bring the female something in order to mate. Did you hear what I said? They have to bring her something. They have to or they have to do something. Because I know there was one bird species, the bird, he had to do a dance. You know, he had to show his feathers and his colors, and he had to move. He had to perform for her. He had to do something for her in order to mate with her. And even after he did all that, she flew off. She was like, "Girl, bye." And she was like, "No, thanks." He did all that dancing, and she flew the fuck off. She was like, "Yeah, boy, bye. See ya." Even like female species in nature have better standards than black women. It's really sad. And there was one fish species. There, I wish I remembered the name. There was one fish species that he made an entire artwork out of on the sand on the ocean floor. He made a whole beautiful geometric artwork. Took him hours. Hours. He made this whole artwork. It was so beautiful. And then the female came out and saw it, and she made it with him. She was like, "Oh, that's so nice." He had to put in work. It took him hours to do all that. He had to put in all that work so he can go get the punani. Even in nature, the females have standards. You have to beat a nigga's ass, or you gotta bring me something or do something for me in order for me to lay down with you. So how is it that the female species in nature have figured that out, but black women haven't? Black women just want to keep reversing the roles. And where has that gotten us? Nowhere, dumbass. It's gotten us nowhere. As I said before, women are not socialized to share their wealth with other women. So when you reverse the roles, okay, and naturally, 9 times out of 10, statistically, the women live longer. You're going to outlive him. So you're the one with all the wealth. So he dies. And then you're the one with the wealth. So it was like, what was the point of marrying? You didn't benefit because you're the one with the wealth. You're a billionaire, and then he dies, and his little $100,000, whatever the fuck he had in his account, adds to your account. Wow, such a come up. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Ugh, girl. My next point is the black church. You don't to the black Christians. Y'all don't go to church to worship God. You go to church to worship that black pastor. Yeah, I said it. You're going to church to worship that black pastor. That's where the black male worship starts, as I've said in my previous videos. You're going to church to worship that black penis, that black phallus. And just to get a little metaphysical real quick, the whole emphasis of Sunday service, because I used to go to church in high school. I used to go to church with my friends, and they were Southern Baptists. Okay, so this church was like, it was like color purple, honey. Backwoods, real black country folk, eating soul food after the service. Mind you, we would go to church from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., girl. Oh my God. Woo. Never again. But it was an experience. We would go to church um, for hours. And like I said, the metaphysics of it is that when you're in church, the whole point is to get you in a vulnerable state. Okay. Now, when the pastor starts hooting and hollering and he starts shouting God and Jesus, all that, it's all a ritual. Okay. It's a simulation of sex. Okay. That's why most in the black community, in the black church, most churchgoers are women. Most of those people that fill those pews is women and children. Okay. That's why they don't really want women pastors, because it's a simulation of sex. It's a simulation of that pastor fucking those women. So that's why he's got to get you riled up. He's got to get you all hot and heavy, and he's talking and whew. And after you done shouting and running up all down the aisles, because that's you climaxing. That's you hitting that's the orgasm. And when you study organ energy, that's where you get the word orgasm from. Organ energy. Organ energy is it's a transmutation of energy. Okay, so he's got to get you all riled up. He's got to simulate that sex. Okay, and then after you in that vulnerable state, what happens? After you calm down, after you come down a little bit, what happens? He passed that plate around. They passed that collection plate. Okay, so that's to program you into, and that's where the programming starts. They program you, I'm gonna get you all riled up. I'm gonna give you this penis, and you gonna give me that money. Okay? You gonna give me that money. That's the whole point. They start you early. And then you wonder why, when you're 20, 30 years old, you out here having sex with these dusties, and then you giving them money. Well, because you was programmed from church, from the pastor. You was programmed from day one, sis. Day one. My next point is being independent is not a badge of honor. It's a necessity. It's a necessity. You're an adult, sis. Like, stop running around here saying, "Oh, I got this. I got." I'm happy that you're, successful, whatever. Great. But we got to stop doing that shit. Like, we're the only race of women that does that publicly, and it's embarrassing. You're an adult. You're supposed to know how to take care of yourself. You're an adult, hon. Like, stop wearing that shit like a badge of honor. You're supposed to know how to take care of yourself. Jesus. Next point is, black men are your black men are your first choice, but you are their last choice. You give birth to men that pick you last. Think about that. Collectively speaking, you give birth to men that pick you last. You're not their first choice. Like this, if you're still dealing with black men at this point, you're suffering from mental illness. As a black woman, you're suffering from mental illness. Why would you keep giving birth to a group of men that pick you last, you are a mere afterthought. You are their first top tier choice. But you are an afterthought. You're picked like, okay, well, if I can't get what I really want, if I can't get the white woman, the Latina woman, the Asian woman, then I'll go get a black woman. And even when he does go get a black woman, most of the time, what do they do? They're picking the lightest black woman they can find. Which leads me to my which leads me to my next point. You know, like I said before, most black men in America are white supremacist identified or white supremacist centered, and definitely white supremacist adjacent. Because, like I said, you can't have it both ways. So, is the white man holding you down, or are you upholding the ideology and rules of white supremacy? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. My next point is these so-called black kings are kings that need half of your paycheck. They're kings that are killing you every 5.5 hours. You can't have much of a kingdom if you're killing off your progenitor. You can't have much of a kingdom if you're killing off the women. How's that going to work? How long is that going to last? So, girl, I can't with these men. You know, I'm just being straight is a curse. It is a fucking curse. Ugh. I'm at my wit's end. You know, I don't know what else to do. I'm not a lesbian. Oh, and also about that. For a lot of y'all thinking about hopping the fence and, you know, going to be with women, well, good luck with that, because a lot of these black lesbians, specifically black lesbians, the studs or the masculine presenting black lesbians, a lot of them are black male identified. Oh yes, let's get into it. A lot of these black studs, black mask as they call themselves, MASC. A lot of these black masculine lesbians, they are black male identified, honey. So you just trading one black male for another. You know, she got the same identity. And I always thought to myself, you know, well, if you're supposed to be so much better than a man, why are you acting just like him? Why am I getting the same experience? That boggles my mind. And that's what kind of turned me off. Because, you know, when I was in college, my early years, you know, I experimented with women. And that part kind of turned me off. I was like, well, you know, I'm not really getting, you know, much of a different experience because, you know, of course I didn't have the terminology at the time, but now I understand. The reason why I was turned off was because, like, well, you're acting just like a black man. So, like, I want a woman, but you know, I didn't have the intellect to break that down at the time. But yeah. So if you think you're gonna hop the fence and get something different, good luck. Good luck with that. You know, there's very few black women, but you know, black women are slowly but surely waking up. There's very few black women that are black women identified. You need to be around women that are Black women identified first, Black women centered, meaning they put Black women, Black women's priorities and topics first. Okay, Cynthia G coined Black male identified, and I'm going to add on to that by saying a lot of these pick-me's and mammies are Black male identified and also Black male centered. They center Black males' issues first. They prioritize Black male issues first. And then they worry about everything else. Extremely toxic. Extremely toxic. So that's my spiel. That's all I got to say. Until next time, deuces.